Soul Garden.
Good morning! I'm Lovecasting live from my Zen garden in Costa Mesa, California. And this is your Thursday Namaste Today. Good morning and namaste and welcome to Namaste Today. My name is Christopher Oteki. I am a psychic astrologer and the Sensei to Sirius Joy, here to stand in my heart and walk in the light at your soul service. Thanks so much for logging in. This webisode is for Thursday, September 24th, 2015. And today the sun has entered step 1 of Libra. And today's topic, just to get right to it, is actually the idea of step 1, which is I love. And I want to talk about it in the context of what Libra is. First of all, Libra is the part of us that opens up to receiving. And believe it or not, balance does not come from pushing more or less. Balance comes from opening more or not, receiving more or not. That is actually how we receive. So if you know Libras, it's their ability to tolerate people's bullshit, like how much can they receive, that like turns into the powerful Libra. You know, like you see like Jimmy Carter, who can kind of like parachute. He's a Libra I admire. Gandhi is a Libra I admire, someone who can toe the balance just kind of perfectly. And part of that's because they're so open to receiving, they can receive the criticism and not take it. They can receive whatever and not take it to the heart. Pretty good balance. So we ourselves are opening up to receiving. And today, step 1, I love rules the day. So today is, can I receive love, particularly from myself, right? And I found in my own work and with all my clients that I do readings for that a lot of times the issue with the client is that not that they can't law of attract love, we have a little airplane there, but rather that when it comes, they can't receive it. And sometimes it's that people can't receive the smallest tokens of love, and so it never builds to great tokens of love, because that's just the nature of consciousness. It grows. If you can't receive a thank you from a stranger, do you think you're going to receive the lottery? All right, and that's what it comes down to. So today, it's about how can you receive love from yourself. Now, the first 11 steps in Libra are the relationship to ourself, which I've coined the mirage, right? This is my right hand, by the way. And so this is my right hand, which is the dumbass. If you don't know, the right side of your body is, your logic, ego, and the left side is your intuitive mind, if you don't know. So I'm telling the dumb part of me, like, that it's married to the spiritual part of me, and that we are going to start to align. And that's part of why I'm in this little Zen garden here in Costa Mesa, is because I'm making space and time and space for my new beliefs, which is Saturn and Sagittarius, and time and space for my sacred, which, I try to or whatever, but now I'm trying to make it a lifestyle in my new mirage vows. So today's topic is step 1, I love. And yesterday I kind of spoke upon the power of why our mirage is so important. And it's because we actually manifest from a binary system of energy, not a singular, a binary. And the binary is based on how our own heart, how we love, and then what our heart thinks of how we love, what our heart thinks of ourselves. So our own impression of ourselves is the fundament of our arising sign, if you know classic astrology, and the two together are the seed that makes reality. So your mirage, if you're not nice to you in the core, then everything that goes out is kind of nuclear. Everything can break down. Because if that core is fighting, okay, on the inside, it's law of attracting things that are also fighting on the inside. And this is quite simply, the issue with world peace. I think the Buddhists have it, but they're not the first to say it. To reach world peace, each individual must find their own inner peace. Then the whole world will be at peace. So my work has always been helping people come to their inner peace. And I hope that I help you, because I hate being in hell. I hate feeling bad. It's a very selfish motive to not want to see anyone suffer. So today I love. The question is, in your mirage, do you love yourself? I mean, think of the old marriage vows. I mean, honestly, to love, protect, honor. I mean, I don't even remember them. I wrote mine for mine, then I got divorced. So, I'm not even sure what I would do now in a marriage. But in a marriage, I've been really thinking about my vows and what I'm going to vow to. And vow to meaning like I just, obviously it's a commitment that I can't let, come apart. But at the very, very core of my relationship to myself, do I love myself or not? And if I do, well, what does that mean as far as how I'm going to treat myself? What does that mean? And today was step 1. Step 1 is literally, I love myself. And when we come to the full 11 steps of Serious Joy, when we get to the 11th step, that is 1, I love myself, and another one, and I love myself some more. At least that's what I say. If you talk to an average Virgo, it's I love myself, and they're looking in the mirror and like, and I hate myself. And they're in that conflict between the two ones a lot of times. And that would be any probably Virgo from any 0 to 11, step 11 that was born that step. So today, what I wanted to leave everyone with as we are leading into a lunar eclipse this weekend, and this is a very powerful lunar eclipse. It's at step 4, I belong. And so I would think this one would cause... this one could, I think, cause geological issues. Just the degrees are lined up and everything. It could cause stock market issues. I'm not a doom predictor, but I am a person that wants to put warnings out when I see, the signals. When I see the signals, I want people to know, hey, these are conditions we quite often see as astrologers. The big one is step 4. I find huge crashes and things happen in step 4. I mean, I can go on and on, but Uranus was at step 4, I believe, or is it step 13? It added to a 4 during the stock market crash in 1929. So that was the ruler of 4, or at 13. So I see the crashes in that knot. This lunar eclipse means that basically wherever we don't belong in life, wherever we don't belong, is going to have kind of like get vacuumed out. And that's what a lunar eclipse ends up doing, just kind of like whoosh, and just pulls that just right out the door. Now the problem is if you're sitting in the seat of where you don't belong, well, that's when bad things happen. That's when people get hurt. That's why I've been very, conscious and conscientious and helping people in the step zeros and where your boundaries, things like that. But between now and the lunar eclipse, really what it's about is it's about giving you a boost to where you actually belong, but in a negative way, by creating an emotional kind of vacuum to vacuum out what no longer belongs. Now, I think on a positive side, for those who are very conscious about where they belong, where they don't belong, this is almost like a mercy killing of some of your shadows and some of the dark energy that you might have carried. It's like, I'm not this. I don't want to feel treated this way anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And when you're clear on that, like in a Linda Ronstadt, 1970s disco queen diva way, you know what I mean? Like when you're clear on what's getting out the door, this kind of lunar eclipse will just kind of send him off to the army or whatever. At least that's what happened in the 70s. Like, oh, I've been sent to the army. Oh, a shame. I think a lot of Whitney Houston kind of songs in that regard. So this lunar eclipse is going to do some clearing. In essence, it'll do clearing as far as what is throwing your scale off balance, what is in the way of your happiness, of your serious joy, what is in the way of you being where you truly belong. And belonging comes down to the heart, what our heart believes. And of course, what our heart believes comes from our soul, what we signed up for in the first place. So without further ado, let's segue into today's reading for Thursday, September 24th, and see what my guides have to say on today's topic. Okay, so they bring me straight to Jupiter. Jupiter's at step 9. This is where they brought me yesterday, too. I remember this. In essence, we are moving forward with a new reality. So in all this change of where our heart is, it's very. What we want to be clear is on where we are taking our heart next and what we are building in our life. So Jupiter at step 9 is what actions are you putting into motion in reality? Be very conscious. Okay. I see where this is leading to. It just comes to me. In essence, it's like if you're building with Jupiter at 9 degrees, the new reality, and it's all based on the wrong belonging, that is an earthquake waiting to happen, because that whatever you've been building, that wrong bridge, is going to collapse most likely and not fall apart. Now, when I say collapse, it doesn't have to be rough. It doesn't have to be crazy. It's just like, hey, Chris, they don't want to pay for it. It's like, what? They don't want to pay for it? You know, like, boom, it just collapsed. You know, whole idea just got non-funded. So, you know, don't always think the worst. But in essence, you know, be conscious of where you want your heart to be. And now they're bringing me to Mars and Venus. Yeah, the twos. So right now the moon is in Aquarius today, and what that does is that allows us to kind of like, you know, take a kind of a standoff position and feel where our heart really is. Like we can, so what that allows us to be is be honest with our feelings today, and that's what's vitally important. With Venus and Mars, both in the high degrees of Leo, what's happening is we are creating here. We are creating based on what our heart really wants. And where we belong is basically when God Universe takes our heart and puts it where it belongs, like puts it on the shelf. You have to know where your heart wants to be to charge that I belong, and then the I belong energy like kind of just makes people be in the right place, right time. This is the age of Aquarius energy. I belong is step 4. It is Aquarius energy. It is what the lunar eclipse is saying. So what's going to happen on the weekend is this massive energy of like a vacuum in I belong, taking away what doesn't belong, all right, leaving what only does belong. Hopefully you're not attached to the bridge of doesn't belong, is a lot of part of what happens. Yeah, and so, you know, this moment in Aquarius is the moment to be like really honest with yourself. Today in particular is what they're saying, because the sun is at step 1 and is charged with pure I love energy. So people are getting a strong I love signal coming through their hearts today. And if you find yourself extremely angry, or if you find yourself extremely, you know, distraught or upset, or, you know, those are your inner child's emotions coming through. On a step 1 day, our inner child comes forward. You can see it even in the coldest people. You'll see like them crack a smile. You know, well, that's another whole story. My senseis, you know, like this would be a day when they might like crack a smile. So you want to use that pure energy of the heart to determine the truth. And with the moon in Aquarius, which is opposite of I love, you can be honest with yourself. Aquarians are very honest with themselves about who they are and who they're not. You know, they don't tell people, but they know in their hearts who they really are. And so we're going to have that ability today, and it's important because we're charging these high degrees of Leo. Now they bring me to Saturn. We had a massive step 0 energy yesterday. I brought it up and I felt the vortex, and a lot of truth came through to me. Mostly it was a new beginning, and that's what they're wanting to say with Saturn right now. Saturn and Sagittarius is we have absolutely a strong new beginning of the way things are. If your heart believes it, that it's possible and it's true, then you should go forward with it. Okay, protect that belief right now. So this is kind of like a time when, you know, people are making decisions on whether or not they should get on the Mayflower or not get on the Mayflower. Like, do you believe there's a new America? Do you believe that the ship will even make it? You know, that was a time of complete belief, right? You know, even though we're in modern times, it's just as scary, it's just as uncertain, okay? And so we're in this place of really having to ask our heart what we actually believe, and then taking the steps to protect it, which would be like you get on the Mayflower if you believe that. You secure the ticket or whatever, even though some people think you're crazy or whatever, right? So right now, the Saturn step 0 is do not go by what you have believed before. I think one of the interesting parts of the Pope being here right now is that everyone's changing their beliefs about Catholicism, and he's putting out a very compassionate message on behalf of Catholicism. And it's like, I don't know about you, but 2,000 years in Catholicism and compassion were not synonymous words. Okay, so, but he, who is a Sag, is rewriting this in our belief structure at a key time, and he is a Sag. So it's fascinating to see everyone, and of course America needed just an ounce of compassion, just a tiny little teacup, and we would be, you know what I mean? Like we're so ready for some. So the point is that beliefs are being rewritten. I don't know what your beliefs were about Catholicism, but believe differently. I know what your beliefs are about gay marriage, but believe differently. And so they're saying to you, you know, there's what you were raised with, there's what society tells you, there's what even your partner tells you in some cases. And they're showing me people in partnerships, and it's like, but what does your heart believe? That's what's really important, and that has to be protected right now. The last thing they just want to know is to point out is that like the North Node is conjuncting the Sun today. So this is the posture that we're going to be in for a while. And so this finding this place in your heart today of like being honest with what your heart wants and being honest with what your heart believes, hold that note, because this is the posture to hold as we go through the lunar eclipse, knowing where your heart belongs, knowing where your heart believes. All right. And sometimes a lunar eclipse is something kind of like dangerous, like somebody luring someone down the wrong path. And it's just like my heart feels like I shouldn't follow that person. It's like, listen to that right now, particularly in this eclipse. So pay attention to how you end up today in this posture is what their last note they're saying, because today is designed to kind of lead you into knowing and trusting your heart, because as we move forward in Libra, we're rewriting our mirage to ourselves, but in this first 5 days, we're getting rid of everything that doesn't belong in the mirage. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. Come on down to my website at soulgarden.tv. I have the steps 0 through 3 posted for the 11 Steps to Serious Joy, and I'm working on the step 4 here sometime for the eclipse. But otherwise, I will see you in 24 hours with more with your Friday show. Until then, remember, I love you, and live, love, be.